Video. It's going from an old valve like this one to a new valve like that one. I'm going to show you how to do this basically with using regular stuff. You don't have to be an advanced plumber to do this. Just understand how to make things clean when you go with them and go from there. So using basic parts from what you need at Home Depot, this is a 1/2" inlet on copper sweat to a 3/8 threaded. They come with this casing on here so you can go to a speed line. Your basic soldering paste, your easy cleaner, and your torch. Your torch is MAP gas. It gets hotter faster than regular propane if you were to go with that. A pair of pliers, some emery cloth, a little bucket of water, a wet rag, and a clean one. I did this one earlier, so I'm making another video on how to do that one. This valve, of course, in the old bathroom, it's about 20 years old. Calcium gets in there, it blocks off the valve end and the stem, and what happens when you go to close them, the calcium blocks the rubber and it doesn't work out right. So in this case, I'm changing it over to redo this bathroom, and I'll go from there. So I'll start first off by cleaning off any excess or debris that's on here, because I don't want it to burn while it's on, while I'm adding fire to it. This also helps for later too. And I'm also going to strap this pipe to the wall when I'm done with the project. Don't want to get burned. Here's my third hand. Once you see the solder start to melt off on the pipe, try to grab hold of your valve. A little more heat there. Pull that off. Add a bunch of heat to it. Take my dry paper towel, and basically I want to wipe off any debris because I don't want a dirty joint. So I'm trying to smooth out all the copper that's on there. I'll hit it again with some fire. I'll go around it. The green flame means very hot. That's a MAP gas trait. She's glowing a little red there. I'm going to wipe off most of this. While she's still hot, I'm going to use my emery cloth to clean me up. Now I know she's clean. I'm going to cool it off a little bit. Once I know it's down to temperature and I'm not steaming this the water anymore, take a look at that calcium buildup. The people brushing their teeth must have never used the hot water that much. This is just a little help me out here. Try to get some of that calcium out. Because when you put your valves on and you go to put your new faucet in, all this stuff is going to end up trapped inside your aerator. So the tip of the day is when you go to put your faucet on, before you turn the water on, make sure you take out your aerator, because the stuff that's loose in this pipe will get stuck in the aerator. Most aerators after 1995 were regulated for 2.3 gallons per minute, and they block up quick. So that's all cleaned up. I'll still go and pass over with one of these guys. I know I'm super clean. Take my valve. I'll clean him up. These new valves, you can apply a little bit of heat to them, more than the old valves. In the older valves, you would have taken this off to get the rubber out, solder this on. Once it cools, then you put this back in. When in the position that you want it, which is usually in the air. And then they put it back together so you don't kill the rubber in there, and that's what makes it leak. In that case, that one was calcium. So now that I'm ready to go, I'll take my dry rag and get off any of that emery cloth that was on there, because I just want a clean joint. If you have problems where your solder is not taken, it's because you got water in your pipe. Water will actually keep the temperature down. You want that temperature up. So you bring this temperature all the way up. You gotta get the water out. I went to the basement, I opened up the valves after cutting off the main, and you know, basically you open the valves down there, it sucks the water down the line. Sometimes you can use a vacuum, a straw. The old timers would use a bread, and they would stuff it in the pipe to stop the water drip, just enough to get you to get the temperature you need to melt the solder. So of course, it has to be in the open position. You cannot solder something that's in the closed position, because the pressure builds up and it won't take the solder, even if the pipes downstairs are open. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. I'll keep the position of it that I want. Get my stuff out of the way. Gonna take out a little bit of lead of this. And what I'm looking for is when I start burning, the way the drip goes, it'll melt down there. And then once you see it suck in, then you know you're at the right temperature. You can pull your fire away. So just watch. Just started melting. Once it sucks in, I know I hit temperature. Session starts to run. That's it. I saw the drip. She came out. Now to finish it off, I got my little bucket of water here. I'm just going to wipe this off. I dried it up. And that's a pretty clean joint. You don't need much. You don't have to have much of this stuff dripping out. But that's a nice clean joint. I won't turn that off. I'll leave it on. I'll let it naturally just dry out the rest. And, you know, I'll go from there. Another thing, if these pipes, once I adjust them, when I strap them to the wall, is having little air brakes. So what happens is the water comes up, it fills up with pressure. Remember, you can compress air, but you can't compress water. That's what makes it hydraulic. So at that point, this stops the pipes from banging. Once they're strapped, if you shut the water off when it's running, you know, real fast, you come to a sudden break, and what you hear is the pipes will bang in the wall. So a lot of guys will put these in. Some guys today, they cut these out. But if you notice here, and show them the back shot, that's going to be replaced too. But these guys have them as well. So note to self, put them in, make them yourself. You don't have to spend the extra money to do them. But that's today's video, and I hope you learned from it. There it is.